The next section that we're going to talk about is called conscious eating. Conscious eating is an extremely important part of the cleanse, and for many people is the most important part of the cleanse. We've had participants during the program that literally never sit when they eat, and this is extremely detrimental to the digestive system. So the first thing about conscious eating is to really start thinking about eating according to the time of the day and the season that we're living in. In Ayurveda, it says to eat like a prince or princess in the morning, a king or queen at lunch, and a pauper in the evening. This is really important because most of us in the West eat a very large meal at night, oftentimes quite late. Why do we need to eat a large meal when we're simply going to be going to sleep a couple hours later, and our body is going to have to work really hard to digest that food in the middle of the night? And what happens is that the liver has to focus on, and the digestive system has to focus on digesting that food as opposed to detoxifying, purifying the blood, and allowing the immune system to do what it needs to do at night, also to take care of ourselves. So meal timing is really important. The metabolism tends to be the highest around noon, around 12 o'clock. So anywhere between 11 and 1 o'clock tends to be the highest. So really, we should be eating our largest meals at noon. Now, in our culture, that can be really difficult. And sometimes people try to minimize their evening meal, but they forget to eat a larger meal, and that really doesn't work. So what I recommend is start eating a larger meal at noon and go for a nice 10-minute walk after eating, and that will prevent sleepiness from occurring after having a larger meal. Avoid excess protein or meat, animal proteins, especially at night. There's absolutely no reason to have a heavy, dense, protein-filled meal at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's just going to burden the digestive tract and literally cause strange dreams, and oftentimes it's responsible for insomnia too. The last meal shouldn't really be beyond 6 or 7 at night either. If you need a snack, that's fine, but keep it light. So the benefits of eating consciously. Eating consciously is bringing a certain element of meditation into your eating. It's remarkable how important that is. How we eat can be more important than what we eat. This is really true. Conscious eating helps with getting out of neurotic fight or flight mentality around food. It benefits the body, mind, and spirit. It's really the most important factor in eating, and a couple reasons for that. It enhances food absorption, it enhances toxin breakdown, increases enjoyment and satisfaction, it removes stress and neurosis around eating, and without it, even healthy food can become toxic. You know, if you're running from a tiger in the jungle while you're eating the healthiest food on the planet, you're still not going to be able to digest that food. The nervous system is wired in such a way that if it knows that there's some kind of emergency, it doesn't send prana, vital life, intelligence, blood to the digestive organs. It sends it to the brain and the legs and the arms to handle an emergency or a danger. When we're eating in a stressed out state of mind, what happens is the body is not thinking, oh, digest this food. It's thinking there could be an emergency. We have to be prepared to run. We have to be prepared to think. We have to be prepared to defend ourselves with our hands. Whatever it may be, it's not going to send the intelligence and the blood and the energy and the oxygen that we need to fully digest our food. This is also another way of saying our sympathetic, which is our go mode, part of our nervous system, needs to slow down, and our parasympathetic, which is our slow mode, needs to come up while we're eating food. So there's some really crucial key tips around conscious eating. One of them is the whole thing, you need to slow down while we're eating. One of the best ways to do that is to take 3 really nice breaths before you start eating. And that can be, you know, as the food is coming to the table, just really take some nice full breaths. Just that will begin to shift your nervous system priority from being in the sympathetic mode, which again is the go mode, toward the parasympathetic, which is the slow mode. It will shift your energy. Just that one behavior can change your whole eating experience. Another nice thing to do is to light a candle. Now, lighting a candle is very calm and peaceful for the mind, but in Ayurveda it also says it stimulates the Agni, which means a fire of digestion. Just having that fire is like a homeopathic dose of fire in the gut, which helps to support digestion. Sitting down while eating. Again, if you're standing up while eating, your digestive system or your nervous system is getting the message that there's some kind of emergency. It's not really safe to, to eat. That something dangerous could be happening, or your boss could be coming in at any moment, or there's other things that are way more important than the eating process. Now, that's not really good because, again, your nervous system is going to be hypersympathetic mode. It's going to be on go mode, and your nervous system will not be supporting digestion. The parasympathetic nervous system controls digestion. It controls your ability to absorb nutrients, eliminate toxins, and elimination. Keeping your feet on the ground is a good idea. That helps keep us grounded and present while we're eating. Expressing some kind of gratitude or grace, whatever your tradition may be, is also really nice. Do nothing else while eating. Now, some people find this really difficult, but during the cleanse, I really recommend, as often as possible, simply let eating be a meditation. So that means, no TV, no reading, no internet, no checking your text. It's really challenging these days. Just eat and really engage your senses in the experience. Chewing, tasting, smelling, all the experiences of eating. The other thing that's really important is to eat in a cheerful state of mind. What does that mean? In Ayurveda, they speak of eating in a cheerful state of mind. Very important because we don't want to bring significant amounts of negativity while we're eating. That will disturb the mood. It will decrease our ability to digest. We all know what it's like if somebody's being angry, or if we're having an angry discussion at the dinner table. Everybody loses their appetite. Nobody wants to eat. It's almost like the food becomes contaminated. Nobody wants to touch it. So it's really important to know, like if you have an issue you want to deal with someone in your family or a friend or a partner or whatever, just tell yourself, this can be dealt with after we eat. Respect the eating process. It's kind of like if somebody was meditating and you had an issue with them, you wouldn't walk over to them and just say, hey, we got to talk about this. You want to wait, be respectful, let that person finish their meditation practice, or you finish your meditation practice, and then you can deal with the issue. So very important to eat in a cheerful state of mind. Observe and smell your food. And again, use your senses, your smelling, your sight, your taste. Really engage your senses in the activity. Let it be a meditation. Another thing is to eat one mouthful at a time. In our culture, we tend to do this thing where we take a bite, we're talking, we slide the food in the corner of our mouth while we're talking, and we take another bite without really fully chewing the previous bite. And that creates a very sort of unhealthy rhythm, and it seems to be polite because we're talking, but the way we're really designed to eat, it's not that we can't talk, it's to take a nice full bite, chew it fully, swallow it, and then talk. And actually, if both people, or if everybody's doing that, it creates an incredibly nice rhythm of enjoying the food and a very nice rhythm of conversation. When we're trying to eat and talk and discuss all at the same time, it speeds up the whole eating process way faster than it has to be. And it takes away from the enjoyment of eating and the actual effectiveness of digestion. The other thing is to chew 16 to 32 times every bite. And sometimes people think, my gosh, that's a lot. But if you actually start doing it, you'll find that even 32 times is not that much. Ayurveda recommends 32 times to actually chew your food. But what happens is that the idea is that your teeth are there to break your food down into smaller parts. And then it goes in your stomach, breaks it down more, small intestine breaks it down more. Then it absolutely absorbs in your bloodstream, goes in your liver breaks it down more and makes it usable by the body, turns it into tissue. When you don't chew, you're putting much more burden on your stomach and your small intestine. So chewing is really, really important. Also, chewing can be one of the most effective conscious eating techniques because if you chew 32 times, you can be sure that you're slowing down the whole process. When you're done eating, rinse your mouth out 6 to 12 times. What I mean by that is go to the sink and just sort of take some water, rinse, spit, rinse, spit, rinse, spit. Rinse your mouth out. It's very hygienic, which is really important. But the other benefit is that it ends the eating cycle. A lot of times people will eat their meal, and then they'll be cleaning the plate, cleaning the table, cleaning the bowls or the pots, and they'll keep tasting it. And they'll actually end up feeling really full and uncomfortable, where when they were done, they were fine. So what that does, it ends the eating cycle by getting the tastes of the foods that you've just eaten out of your mouth. You're less inclined to want to keep eating. So it's a very good discipline for both hygienic purposes and to not overeat. So I'd like to just touch on a couple principles of food combining. Food combining is important because one of the principles of the cleanse is to minimize the stress on the digestive system. That's one of the things that we really want to do. Some people can digest anything, but meal combining minimizes the stress on the digestive tract. So a couple things that work really well are eating grains and vegetables go very well together. Protein and vegetables go very well together. This is for people that especially eat animal protein, and vegetables work quite well together. Fruit is best alone, but vegetarians can mix beans and grains, because beans like soy or mung beans or pinto beans, they're both a carbohydrate and a protein. High protein, high carbohydrate. So as a vegetarian, you don't have to worry about the protein and grain things so much. But if you're eating meat or animal protein, it's really best to minimize any grains at all with any animal protein. Hippocrates said, any body's not properly cleansed, the more you nourish, the more you may injure. What that means is that cleansing is meant to relieve the burden off the body, to detoxify. If we're eating very rich, heavy, dense foods and our body is toxic, what happens is those toxins will not be eliminated from the body, and it will actually continue to cause a greater burden on the body. So conscious eating according to the right time of day, eating the right amounts of food is essential for the cleanse process.